all, welcome to Steve McDonald's Arts and Crafts, and today what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking my experiment a little bit further that I did with the polyurethane resin in epoxy resin, and I'm going to see if I can get the same effect as you get with alcohol inks, or a similar effect with the feathering. And you're going to have to work quite quickly with this because the polyurethane resin, which I'll refer to as PU resin from going forward, cures up really quickly. I'm going to be using a really good quality jewellery resin for this, and as always the one I use in the UK is the Resin Colour jewellery resin. But if you're not in the UK, then I would always recommend Pro Marine, and I'll put a link to it in the description below. It's quite a nice viscous resin and it's ideal for this type of work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up my resin first, my epoxy resin, so it's all ready and waiting for me to do the little pours, and then I'm going to mix up my PU resin because that'll cure a lot quicker and my other resin will be ready. But I'm going to do this using the same kind of technique but a different method, so keep on watching and you'll see what I do. I'm also going to be using some titanium dioxide here, which I've turned, as you know, I use it and I make my own resin pigment pastes with it. I'm going to be using this one and this one as the colours that I'm going to be using to make the feathering. That sounded like a load of old... I'm so sorry for all that. I think I got a little tongue-tied. So I've got all my resin mixed up now, and I'm going to just put this to one side. And the good thing is that will help it to degas, not that there's too many bubbles in it. And the first row I'm going to fill with only half amount in it, and the second row I'm going to fill right the way up because I'm going to try two different techniques. I'd just like to say a quick thank you to all my members now whose names are coming up now. If you'd like to become a member of my channel and enjoy all the perks and benefits, then the link for that is in the description below. We're currently doing a series on how to sell and market your arts and crafts by setting up a small business. So as you can see, I'm filling this up and ensuring that some of them are right, can full to the top, and others are only about half full. Although I do tend to over pour a little bit in the ones that are full to the top. So as you can see, I'm just going in with the pipette here, and I'm going to take out some of the resin that's in there to allow me to add more resin to it, because if not, there's just not going to be enough room. And pop in the bubbles that have come up to the top as well, because that way I haven't got to worry about those bubbles bursting and moving any of the colours that will go on the top or creating little tiny holes and divots. So carefully going over that. Remember, never a torch, always a long neck lighter when you're popping bubbles when you're using a silicone mould, because the torch will burn far too hot and adhere your resin to your mould if you're not careful. So I've got my PU resin mixed up now, and I'm just adding the little drops. Now, unlike alcohol ink, this isn't going to spread out across the surface, which in a way is quite useful because you can see where you've got your dots, and you can add your dots in quite precisely using a pipette, as you can see I'm doing here. Now I'm going through and I'm leaving enough space on each one to ensure that I can fit my other colours in, because what I don't want to do, if I can help it, is lay one colour too much over another at this stage, because I think that might encourage them to blend in. Although colours don't really blend when you're using PU resin as they do with epoxy resin. So I'm putting not an equal amount of dots in each one, to be perfectly honest. I've not counted them. I'm just filling them up until I think there's enough dots of that colour in there, to be honest. And then popping some in this little square mould, which is also only half full. I am going to speed this up now going forward, because I'm sure you don't want to just see me sitting here popping dots in. So now, I wish I could work this fast, that would be absolutely amazing. So now I'm popping my white in, and as you can see, I'm trying to pop that in and around in the gaps, and ensuring that I've got enough white in there that when I do the swirls, that you will still see the white and no one colour is going to be too predominant, because I think that would be problematic. And then I do the same again using the red and put that into the gaps. And now it does move around a little bit, but like I said, it's not going to cover the full surface or sink down on its own like it does with alcohol inks. And the advantage of this is I think it will stay colour fast a lot longer, considerably longer than it would if you were using alcohol inks. If you'd like to buy me a coffee just to say thank you for any of my videos and experience and help me get towards my goal of achieving my snap maker and get your name on the board as well, my coffee board, the link for that is in the description below. So now I'm going in and all I'm using is the blunt end of one of those little micro brushes and giving it a good swirl. And again, unlike when you use alcohol inks, you can actually be quite vigorous with this as opposed to being quite gentle. Although I'm not scraping the bottom of the mold because I really don't want to damage this mold. I love this mold. So I'm doing just lots of little different swirls, and I've got this speeded up to 2 times the speed as well. I'm not actually moving at this speed. But I am giving it quite a vigorous stir and a lot of movement. And I'm not really following any one particular pattern. As you can see, this one I'm going crisscrossing and then I'm going around. And I'm making sure that I'm getting that PU resin coloured as deep in there as I can. So it's not looking like it's just all on the surface. So when you turn this over after demolding it, it's not just all going to look like it's flat on the bottom, because that's not really what I want to go for. So again, just going round, ensuring that I'm making every bit has got a bit of blending in it and I've got no dots left over. This one I'm picking up the bits and changing that around a little bit. So I'm coming now towards the end of stirring these, and it was the square mold that I was really interested in as well, and you'll see why in a second, because that is quite a lot deeper. Now these molds, the heart mold on the left as you're looking at the screen is a lot shallower than the mold on the right as you're looking at the screen. So I'm really going for it with the square one and ensuring that that is well pushed in. Now I'm covering up with using a pipette, and the reason I use a pipette is, as you know, I can be so much more accurate. And then what I did find here is as I put the epoxy resin in, it did move the internal PU resin towards the center a little bit more, and I was quite surprised about that. And if you haven't checked out my other channel, which is me doing lots and lots of different crafting and having fun doing lots of crafts, then check that out. The link for that is in the description below. It's growing really well. I just made, for anybody that likes Doctor Who, a TARDIS on a sketchbook as well. So that's up and going now, and I do lots of different crafts. So again, just finally filling in these last bits of this mould, ensuring that every mould is up to the same level and I've got no overpour on them, because I don't really want to have overpour where I have to trim it up. And the same for the square mould. This did take me a few pipettes to fill up, so it does go to show that it was a really half-filled mould, and it will be interesting to see whether that PU resin will actually rise up into the remainder of this mould or whether it will just stay in the centre. The other advantage as well with using PU resin over alcohol inks is that you can actually go over it with a lighter as well to pop any bubbles that have come to the surface. So you're not going to get any bubbles that are really affecting anything. And this resin does release the bubbles quite well. And now I'm going to leave it to cure up. Well, these have all cured up now. I'm really looking forward to seeing how they've come out. So I'm going to demold the cube first. Oh, look how lovely and clear this resin is. I tell you, it's a cracking resin. So that one did kind of go down into the bottom, but I like how it's going over in that. Let me move my gloved hand out of the way. I like how it's actually shining through there, and it really has given up quite a nice multi-layer. Yeah, I think that's come out really pretty. Let's pop him there. So these are the hearts. Now, these are shallower than these ones, so that's why I did the separate ones, and these are the ones where I just put the resin right in, and these are the ones where I did it half and half and then filled it up. So let's have a look. So that I think has come out beautiful. Yep, I'm liking the way that the ones come out. That one especially, and that was probably one of the earlier ones that I did. So the resin was still a bit thinner on that one as well. And the backs are nice. Very patriotic, red, white and blue. And these are the ones where I topped it up afterwards. And again, that's come out quite nice. So let's put those ones this side. Yeah, I like that. There, you can see a bit of a difference by topping it up afterwards. And then again, the top two here are the ones where I filled it right up. I think that's coming out nice. Filled it right up. There you go, that side. And these are the ones where, oh, I love that. Let me put my hand behind that so you can see it as well. So that one has come out beautiful. I'm really liking how these are coming out. And if you've liked these and you like my experiments, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And also, if you'd like to buy me a coffee just to say thank you and get your name on the coffee board, then the link for that and the link for everything that I've used today is in the description below. Yeah, that one's come out really, really nice. That goes that side. To be honest, I have to say, I like both methods. And I think I mixed up quite a bit. And remember that PU resin does cure very, very quickly. So maybe do less in one go and you would get it a little bit more liquidy. And I think you would get a really nice feathering effect from that. Let me know what you think in the comments. Be really interested to find out what you think. Take care. Enjoy your resin. Bye.